And then when you get into the relationship, you get upset that they are treating you the way that you treated yourself at the beginning of the relationship. What's up, everybody? I'm Kita, your career dating coach and matchmaker, and I am here with another video. And today we're going to talk about why lesbian relationships don't last. Now look, it's not just lesbian relationships that aren't lasting or going the distance, as you may say. It's relationships in general. And so I'm definitely gonna speak from like the queer perspective, and talk about U-hauling and a couple of other things that like we as queer people, and specifically as lesbians, as we do. But I want you to take this concept and just know that it doesn't just apply to you. These are things that are going on in every single relationship. So just know that you're not by yourself, you're not the problem, but I'm going to give you some reasons as to why your lesbian relationship is not lasting. Okay. So reason number one is that we are conditioned to think that the hardest part about a relationship is getting into one. If you think about all of the Disney movies that you watch, right? From a little kid, you see this obstacle that these characters have to go through in order to actually be together. And so we think once that we're in the relationship, it's all fine and dandy, we're good to go, and it's gonna be smooth sailing from there. But that is not the case. Dating is a skill. Being in a relationship is a skill. And we are often not taught how to be in relationships. We're not taught or given the skills of what, actually makes a good relationship. We are simply viewing the relationships around us and saying, yes, I'll do that. No, I won't do that. That seems really, that didn't work for my parents or didn't work for my sister, so I'm going to do the complete opposite, and we overcorrect. We are simply out here guessing. And so when you do get into a relationship, you don't wipe your hands off and think, all right, cool, I'm done, right? That's probably the biggest mistake you can make. You have to take each day and each opportunity to grow as the relationship grows, as you and your partner grow together, as life changes and as obstacles are thrown your way. Reason number two is that we are not mindful in the dating process. This means, especially as lesbians, U-hauling is a thing. When we are on our 24-hour date, or the date that lasts weeks and weeks because you haven't spent any time apart, we can get really caught up in the future. Like, what does the future look like with this person, right? Which is why we put so much pressure on the first date, because we go into the first date thinking, am I good enough for this person? Are they good enough for me? Can I build a life with them? All that. Instead of being just mindful and being present to the person that's right in front of you. See, pressure comes and stress comes when we start to think about the future, or when we start to think about what we've done in the past and trying to make sure that we're not doing those things. When we can be mindful in the moment with this person, am I having a good time? What's the attraction like? Can we create chemistry? Then we are more likely to have our relationships last, because we understand what it's like to take it on day by day, moment by moment. And then when something comes up, we can reflect on what has been going on in the present, not what we want in the future. That's where dating someone's potential, because you're thinking about the future, comes in, rather than being present to who they are, what they're doing, and how they're showing up for you, and who you are, what you're doing, and how you are showing up for them. Which brings me to my next point. Oftentimes in the dating process, we are neglecting ourselves, which means that we're not looking at those red flags, looking at the little things and addressing them right away, right? And how does that affect us, right? Because when we let those red flags go, or those yellow flags go, and we don't address them, right, then we're basically training and teaching that other person how to treat us, right? What happens so often is we will treat ourselves a certain way at the beginning of the relationship. We'll put what we want on the back burner. We won't ask for what we want, right? And then this other person gets this view of like, oh, okay, they don't really care about what they want. They only care about what I want. And then when you get into the relationship, you get upset that they are treating you the way that you treated yourself at the beginning of the relationship. They brush off those little things that don't seem like a big deal, because guess what? You brushed off those little things at the beginning of the relationship, and everybody does it, right? It can be driven by fear. It could be driven because we don't want to be alone, because everybody else in our life is in relationships and we want to be in a relationship as well. Or maybe the first couple of dates went really well and you start thinking about the future. And here's the biggest thing. We go to talk to other people and we let other people convince us that those things, those uncomfortable things that we know in the pit of our stomach that we should address, we let other people convince us that they're not a big deal. So be careful, because just because it's not a big deal to someone else doesn't mean it's not a big deal to you. It doesn't mean that it's not important to you. And again, you are training and teaching this person how to treat you. And so if you're letting somebody else talk you into like, oh, it's not a big deal that they didn't call and text you and let you know they were on their way. It's not a big deal that they did this thing, right? If you're letting those things slide, they will seep into the relationship. And then this little thing has become this huge problem that you tend to constantly. This reason why your lesbian relationship isn't lasting is because you are running away from the pain. Look, we all have trauma that we have to heal. Doesn't matter how you grew up, right? We're all in relationships. We all have issues, right? And so a lot of times people aren't going deep into those issues and healing those things, right? What we're doing is we're numbing the pain. We're shopping, or we're drinking, or we're smoking, or we're doing all of these things that can push all of that trauma down, right? But what happens is when you get in a relationship with the other person, they will reflect back to you what needs to be healed, what's still going on. And it's not because, not solely because you're trauma bonding, right? But there's someone that says we tend to get in relationships or marry our unfinished business. It's just unfinished business. It's an opportunity for you to self-soothe. It's an opportunity for you to heal yourself, for you to heal your younger child or your teenager or wherever the pain started and the trauma came from. But if we're numbing and we're running away from that, or we're blaming the other person and not being responsible for what's going on over here with us, your relationship won't last. Because it'll be about what the other person isn't doing. It'll be about, well, they're not doing this to make me happy. No, it is your responsibility to make you happy, not anybody else's. It's yours. The best relationships is when this person is happy and this person is happy, and they can find a way to create happiness together on a day-to-day, hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute moment. And it's creating, right? But if every time your partner does something and you get triggered and you blame them, right, it creates this gap, right? Instead of an opportunity for you to be responsible, for them to be responsible, to really do the work to heal that pain, right? When stuff comes up, we blame and then we run away. We go gossip and talk to a friend, right? So really look at those, and like when I say look, like dig in deep and really look. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, and it's gonna take something. But really look at yourself and look at your past relationships and see over those relationships, there are going to be some common denominators as to why those relationships didn't work out. And you want to look at, right, why didn't those things work out from your perspective, right? Where can you be responsible? Where did you contribute to this? And then underneath, what did you really want that you didn't get, right? And what needs to be healed? What were you really asking for? What were you really trying to get out of them? Because typically when we get mad at our partner, they trigger us and we're arguing, we just want to feel good enough. We just want to feel worthy of love, right? But because our lives have been so chaotic and we continue to run away, right, from the healing, because we think the healing is chaotic, but our lives are really chaotic, right? When we tend to run away from that, we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to heal and grow and progress in our relationships. So look, I hope those reasons really helped. You know, relationships are hard. They're difficult. It's one of the areas of the life where it's so important, but no one teaches any of these things, right? They don't teach us about what it means to be loved, how to be loved. Well, none of that. We're all just out here guessing, which is why I created my conscious dating program, right? Because it takes you from being unconscious and randomly doing things to figure it out, to sitting down, to healing, to add intentionality into your dating world, right? And have your next dating experience be your last, because you have those skills to not only find and attract the right person, but those skills can then be translated over into the relationship, and you use them to continue to grow and build the relationship of your dreams. Okay? Healthy, effective, happy relationships aren't just found, they're created. And my conscious dating program will put you in a position to create the relationship of your dreams. So if you're interested in that, please shoot me an email, or check out the link below. That'll give you more information on the conscious dating program. And then, we can be connected to see if that's the right path for you. Hope this helps. I'll see you in the next video. Love you all. Peace.